Hello, hello, hello. This is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere, and it is time to return to Lamplight City. Hope you watch to the end, as always. Now, we have we just got information, I believe, from in here, the Silent Raven. Let's take another look at this outline.
To think, in an instant, a man's life can be reduced to some scribbles on the filthy pavement.
Yeah,
now's not the time to get poetic, Bill.
Alright. Let's check our casebook here. Photo of Ronin. Suspects none, documents none. So, we gotta find, we now have information to go on here. Morgan Bakery, Upton's apartment, water treatment station, and an opium den. Okay.
Crisparkle Lane. Nothing crisp or sparkly about it.
No, there isn't.
I wonder how many layers of advertisements you'd have to cut through before getting to the wall. You can't make heads or tails of it, but I'll bet you 10 crowns it doesn't say welcome.
Very true. Well, there's only one thing to do.
Yes? What do you want?
I'm looking for a man named Darius. I believe he may be inside.
Yeah, I don't know anybody with that name. So if that's all you wanted, get lost.
Nothing. Never mind.
Stop wasting my time.
Okay, that's not gonna be the way to get in. I don't want a chance causing more trouble right now. Let's look at the water treatment plant.
So this is what it's come to, eh? Braving the stench of human waste in hopes of finding a lead? Just make sure you stay away from the edge. Handy to know where you are. But why would anyone actually travel around the city this way?
I can think of many
Some sort
reasons.
of water treatment device would be my guess. For all I know, it could just be a fancy boiler for tea.
Yeah.
Another mysterious device. I was happier not knowing all this went on after I used the commode. Another mysterious machine. Who knew dealing with human waste involved so much technology?
Begging your pardon, sir.
What? Who are you? What are you doing down here?
My name's Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a sewer worker by the name of Cormac.
Yeah.
You look no further. But what is this about?
I just have a few questions for you.
All right. Cormac will answer them, but don't dally for too long. It can be dangerous down here for anyone who's not trained as Cormac is.
Yeah, I can tell that.
You know a man named Ronin Lespay?
Cormac knows few men. People don't much like talking to a man who spends his days in the sewers.
Yeah.
Can't really blame him for it. It's hard to get a stink off, so why bother even trying?
You didn't answer my question, though. Do you know Ronin Lespay or not?
Could you describe him? Cormac's got a better memory for faces than for names.
I have his portrait. Here, have a look.
Ah, yes. Cormac saw this fellow recently.
On election night?
That's right. He come into the bar, voted, went out. Looked drunk to Cormac, but then everyone at that place usually is.
Do you frequent a pub called the Silent Raven?
Yes. The Raven is where Cormac goes to forget about the day's work. The barmaid, Nicole, she's a good sort. We likes talking about the ponies down at the track. Nicky loves her some racing. She gives Cormac drinks for cheap in exchange for odd jobs. Nice to have your own personal sewer man, I suppose. She's really the only one Cormac talks to. There's a few others Cormac sees often, but Cormac hasn't spoken with them.
Oops. This guy goes on, doesn't he? To be fair, you were warned.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about the murder that took place outside the Silent Raven on election night?
Yeah.
Murder? Ah, yes. The commotion out in the alleyway.
That's right. Did you see or hear anything?
It was a touch noisy that night, what with all the election stuff happening, but Cormac remembers the sound of the gun. One shot. And then shouting and hollering from the bar. A few people run outside to look at what happened, but Cormac just stayed in and finished his whiskey.
So you didn't see the man who was shot, or who shot him?
No, keeps to himself, Cormac does. Makes life easier that way.
Could
Yeah.
you be any more unhelpful? Actually, that's not fine.
Is it difficult being a sewer worker?
Difficult? Nah, it's a dream. Especially since they introduced all these temporary treatment purification whatsits. The only thing Cormac's got to do is check the little dial that goes into the rear end on the Linda. Aye, the purifier. She's a real special lady to make Cormac's life a home rider. Cormac makes sure they thank her each and every day.
Wonderful. We're talking to a architect.
Wasn't so easy a few years ago. Back then it was tapping on pipes all day.
Pipes.
To make sure they was flowing fine and all along. Cormac takes a little hammer and tap on the pipes to make sure they ring fine. You can imagine what that was like. Tap. Ring. All day, up and down, over and over.
Yeah.
The tapping stopped, but the ringing never left. Still doing it to this day, Cormac does.
I can sympathize with that one.
You have any news regarding the election?
Cormac is not thinking about Atwood, but he's the one what's got this new machinery put into the sewer system. There's still a job for Cormac, so all they talk about being replaced by machines just talk for now. But Leroy says he wants to give the workers their chance, so Cormac can't argue with that. What about you?
I would have preferred Atwood stay in office myself.
They's all the same in the end, one way or another. No worrying, says old Cormac.
I'll let you return to your work.
Be mindful on your way out.
Well, Cormac seems to fit in with, being a decent sort. Alright, let's head to the Morgan Bakery.
All right, Mr. Chavez. The cake and muffins come to a total of 6 crowns, 10 shillings.
There you are, Mrs. Morgan. And thank you again. Barbara is going to love this.
My pleasure. Enjoy.
Pardon me, sir.
Ah, so polite.
I'm sure Barbara will enjoy them, the cow. Oh, Mr. Fordham. Welcome.
Thank you, Mrs. Morgan.
Oh, at least we know who she is.
Those look nice, but given the choice, I'll always side with pie over cake. It's a bunch of assorted baking products. Don't waste your time with those, Miles. We've got a murder to solve. A very wise man once told me, never go poking around the back rooms of bakeries. I think you'd do well to heed that advice.
Yeah.
The stuff in that day-old box doesn't look half bad. More like 3/4 bad. Well, I never had much of a sweet tooth, but even I'd consider buying some of this stuff. You know, if I was still alive. Minor detail, I know.
Yeah. Emily Morgan. Well, let's talk with her.
You got time for a few more questions, Mrs. Morgan?
Yes, of course.
What can you tell me about your brother?
Ronin was the best brother anyone could have asked for. He took care of me after our parents died. Carriage accident. I was only 9 and he was 13. Ronin went out and found work and managed to support the both of us. He was just a child himself, but he kept us out of the gutter. Or worse, the workhouse.
How did you hear of his death?
Ronin comes by to visit me every day after he finishes work. When he didn't come for 2 days in a row, I got worried. I went to his apartment, but he wasn't there. So I made a report to the police. Yesterday, they contacted me and asked me to come to the mortuary.
I'm terribly sorry for your loss, Mrs. Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Fordham. Please, find whoever did this to him. Ronin deserved so much better.
What do you know about your brother's murder?
Only
Yeah.
what the police told me. He was shot at close range outside that pub in the Chum. Nothing was missing, and his wallet had money in it, so they said it wasn't a robbery. I didn't recognize the clothes he was wearing. I had never seen them before, and they were far too big for him. I still can't believe he's gone. He was the only family I had left.
Dr. Edwards at the mortuary might be able to give us some more detailed information. The only thing we'll get out of this one is more tears.
Yeah. Makes sense.
What sort of life did Ronin lead?
Yeah.
You know, just normal. He'd go to work, come visit me afterwards, and go home. He didn't have much of a social life. At least he never mentioned any friends to me. I always hoped Ronin would meet a nice girl to settle down with, but he was so shy, you know.
Where did Ronin work?
At the Grips Home taxidermy shop in Gascon. I always thought it was rather macabre work, but he enjoyed it. Bit lonely, though.
Well, that's something new to add.
Can you give me the address of Ronin's apartment?
It's at 1172 Bushmill Street. I have a spare key.
That would be most helpful. Thank you.
Ah.
So, this is your bakery.
My husband Gerald and I have had it for almost 10 years.
Is it just the two of you? Do you have any children?
Alas, no. Some extra hands would be most welcome in the kitchen, but we haven't yet been blessed. It's such a shame that Ronin never got to be an uncle.
What are your thoughts on the outcome of the election?
Oh, I haven't given it much thought, to be honest. It hardly seems to matter now.
Yes, of course. My apologies for bringing it up. Those are all the questions I have for now.
All right, Mr. Fordham.
Well, that gave us some more locations to check out. Taxidermy shop. Ronin's apartment. Let's see if I can get...
I was beginning to wonder when you'd show up.
Well, wonder no longer. I'm here and I need to see Dr. Edwards.
Oh, I see how it is. He helped you solve a case, and now you don't have time for us lowly front desk clerks.
That's just the way it goes, Upton. Maybe next time you should pick a nicer coffee house.
Right. You know the way. Snelling isn't in today, so you're all clear.
Well, that's a relief. Thanks, Upton.
I'd like to know what her job is. Well,
Assorted lab equipment. I remember when Edwards used to keep his collection of or perhaps that's exactly...
yeah. Nothing new really to look at here. An autopsy table. Drain. Okay.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything, Edwards.
Yeah.
Ah, Fordham. Always a pleasure.
Have you got time for some questions?
Of course.
Yep.
So what can you tell me about Ronin Lespay?
Yeah.
Caucasian male, approximately 27 years old. Died of blood loss as a result of being shot at close range. He was brought in 4 nights ago. I performed the postmortem the following day. After that, his next of kin was contacted. I believe his sister came to identify the body.
Yeah.
Any personal opinions on what might have happened?
Well, the fact he was shot at such a close range would suggest it was done by someone he knew. And robbery doesn't appear to be a motive, since his wallet was found on the body with money in it. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine.
Better, I hope.
Did the postmortem reveal anything?
Quite a few things, actually. Mr. Lespay was extremely inebriated when the shooting took place. There was enough alcohol in his blood to presume he had been drinking for hours before his death. I also managed to remove the bullet from his heart. It's a .36 caliber lead ball, standard revolver shot. It shouldn't be too hard to match to a weapon, provided you can find it.
Did you notice anything unusual about the clothes Mr. Lespay was wearing?
Yeah.
Unusual? Not really. They seemed a bit big for him, but that's all.
His sister seemed convinced that they didn't belong to him.
That's a distinct possibility, but I couldn't say for sure. He could have just been a sloppy dresser.
So no murder weapons been found?
That's right. Either the killer still has it, or the police just overlooked it. If you happen across any weapons in your investigation, be sure to bring them to me. I can tell you if it matches the bullet.
Thank you, Edwards. I'll be on the lookout. How's the coroner business?
Things have been pretty dead around here lately.
Don't quit your day job, Edwards.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the election?
There was an election?
I think our friend Edwards needs to get out a bit more.
Yeah.
I'll be going now, Edwards.
Take care, Fordham. And remember, not everyone gets to leave the morgue alive, so consider yourself lucky that you can.
Okay. So. Let's talk to Upton for a
Can we
moment.
talk for a moment, Upton?
Certainly. What's on your mind?
See what we can find out here.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about Ronin Le Spay, would you?
Probably nothing more than you already know.
Yeah.
His body is in the mortuary, and the reason for his murder is unknown. I suggest you speak with Dr. Edwards.
I already did that.
How are things with you?
Better than last week, but plenty of feathers still ruffled around here.
Oh?
What happened?
You have to ask. Snelling was not happy with you turning up at the Latham crime scene. It was a right inquisition around here. Snelling going around to interrogate everyone, trying to ferret out a leak.
So he suspects.
I'm afraid so. I managed to calm him down some and divert suspicion. I think someone on the force is speaking to the Gazette, not to you directly.
Well, that's some kind of relief. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Oh, don't worry about me. Well, maybe worry about me a little.
That was one hell of an election, wasn't it?
That it was.
Yeah.
I don't know how he managed it, but I'm glad Leroy won.
I can't say I agree, but I'm not really surprised. Leroy may have started as something of a dark horse, but his campaign had been gaining a lot of steam leading up to the election.
Yeah.
Pun not intended.
Yes, well, it's the Steam Tech issue that clinched it. When something like the Ligeia happens, people start to wake up and wonder if we really want contraptions like that in our lives.
I have to admit, he was playing up on people's fears. Not exactly the most honorable way of getting into office.
Fordham, since when have politics ever been honorable?
That's true.
Would you happen to have any information on the opium den in Chumley?
I know there is one, but that's about it. The department doesn't have the manpower to bother keeping files on that sort of establishment.
So no idea how one might get inside.
I'm afraid not. Those places are very hush-hush about their activities. They're almost like exclusive high society clubs in their own seedy way.
Interesting observation. I think I'll keep that in mind. I'll let you get back to work.
And you'd better do the same.
That is an interesting little thing. Let's check his apartment.
Quite the collection of exotic items in here. Ronin appears to be a seasoned world traveler.
Or at least knows someone who is.
There's something there.
Just looking at this painting is making me feel seasick.
Yeah.
This mask looks African. You should try it on. It'd be an improvement.
Uh-huh.
Some kind of owl mask. The hair looks incredibly familiar.
Yeah. Desk is...
This one is scarier than the other masks. Wait a moment. I think I saw something shiny in the back of the mouth.
Yeah.
How about that? A perfect hiding place for a key.
Yeah. A key.
Ronin's book collection mostly consists of cheap pulp adventure novels, but this top shelf looks interesting.
Exotic fauna of Africa. Black rhinos, elephant. Exotic fauna of Australia. Kangaroo, koala. Interesting.
It's in another language, but it appears to be a Bible. It's in another language.
Yeah, unmarked.
No title, and it appears to be blank. I wonder if Ronin just kept empty books on his shelf to appear well read.
Secret customs of the Orient. You must be aware, dear reader, that the customs of the Orient differ greatly from our own. You would do well to familiarize yourself not only with common ones, but the more obscure and clandestine ones as well, lest you offend anyone on your travels. Opium use. At the turn of the centuries, travelers to the Orient would often seek out more exotic pleasures, which is to say opium. Nowadays, the influx of immigrants from China and Vespuccia has caused a significant drop in this type of tourism, as many opium dens have appeared in El Presidio, with some even known to exist as far east as New Bretagne. In any case, opium dens are open to all who seek to indulge. Known colloquially as riding the dragon, the use of opium recreationally for relaxation or as a social activity is a common pastime. Baijiu. If you're offered wine, make sure you understand what exactly it is you're about to drink. Chances are it might be baijiu, a clear liquid usually distilled from fermented sorghum, although other grains may be used. Southern China versions may employ glutinous rice, while northern Chinese varieties may use wheat, barley, millet, or even Job's tears instead of sorghum. The jiku, starter culture, used in the production of baijiu mash is usually made of pulverized wheat grain. As a foreigner, drinking baijiu may be a shocking experience. It has been known to be used as a way of proving oneself in a group. This high concentration of alcohol is often too much for anyone not used to it. Exercise caution. The last thing you want is to end up face down in a back alley. Interesting.
Ronin wasn't too concerned with comfort, apparently. This is hardly bigger than a bunk at sea. I had an illustration that looked similar to that one. I wonder where it ended up. I guess Ronin won't be realizing his world travel dreams now. Death really has a way of messing up your plans.
Yes, it does.
Now to find out what Mr. Lespay finds so precious.
Yes. Hello.
Aha! A letter from someone called Jimbo?
Yes. Ronin, next week will be a year since we met. I can honestly say my life has changed for the better in every possible way, and I will always hold July 8th as a special day in my heart. I can't wait to see you again, Jimbo. Oh.
This one appears to be from Emily.
Yeah. Ronin, Gerald and I will be celebrating the new year and would like to invite you to spend it with us. Please feel free to bring along any guests you like, especially any lady friends you might have. All my love, Emily.
A model of the SS Joondalup. Looks like a merchant vessel to me. Ooh, this teacup could use a washing. I'd be surprised if it isn't permanently stuck to the desk. It's empty. Too bad.
Yeah.
They appear to be a pair of letters from Ronin's landlord.
Ronin, with regards to July 2nd, September 3rd. With regards to your request for an extension to pay this month's rent, I'll gladly give you until next month. You have always been a reliable tenant who has paid on time, so don't be concerned. I hope you resolve your issues. Ronin, I understand we all go through financial difficulties, but I'm afraid I can't extend my generosity beyond the end of 2 months. Please have the rent ready by then, or I will have no choice but to seek legal action against you. Oh, he hasn't paid his rent.
Looks like you found Ronin's journal. Perhaps this will be able to give us some more insight into what he was up to before he died.
Yeah.
There are 2 entries, one from this year and one from last.
So, start with last year's.
Yeah.
July 8th, 1843. I've decided I need to get out more, so I'm going to a club in Gascon tonight. Stuffing animals has taken its toll, and I need to talk to someone who isn't Emily or my coworkers. Gerald told me about a place called the Crimson Cat. I'll try it, and if I don't enjoy myself, I'll just come home. Now for this year's entry. July 8th, 1844. Today is our 1-year anniversary. We're going to meet at the Cat again. I love him, but I wish he wasn't so attached to that place. Emily is so nosy, I worry that she might follow me and discover the truth about Jimbo. If we moved around, I wouldn't worry, but with him, it's always the Crimson Cat. I really shouldn't complain, though. What we have is something truly special.
Well, it seems that our best hope of finding this Jimbo character is to visit the Crimson Cat.
Yeah.
Let's see. October 21st, 1843. The air is growing cold, and it's reminding me that I need to purchase a new pair of boots for the winter. I don't think this entry will be of much interest. October 21st, 1843. I don't think this...
Oh, okay.
February 24th, 1844. Jimbo has been at sea for nearly 2 months. These long periods away are the most difficult, but all the time seems to disappear when I see him again. My solace is that he will return with plenty of tales of adventure. I can hardly wait to hear them.
Interesting.
June 17th, 1843. Someone brought in a rare big-eared hopping mouse from Australia yesterday. Stuffing it was quite a challenge, as the organs were difficult to remove without damaging the body. I think I'd rather not read about Ronin's taxidermy process any further.
Yeah.
June 17th.
Let's try a
June
different
17th. Stuffing.
Just see, is there
October 21st, 1840. I don't...
Okay, so now we've learned some things, and it's very interesting. Ronin had an alternative lifestyle. So let's see. Crimson Cat, which we will check out then. I'll walk into the taxidermy shop.
Hello, and welcome to the Gripsome Taxidermy Shop. Please let me know if I can be of service.
And at this, what we're going to do is we're going to save the game. And I hope you've watched to the end. I greatly appreciate it if you have. And next time around, we're going to continue finding out the secrets of Ronin. And I have noticed that we have been asking about the election a lot, so something tells me that plays a part in all this. I just have a feeling. As always, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere, and I hope you're enjoying this playthrough of Lamplight City. I've played through some other classic games, point-and-click games, such as I Have No Mouth and I'm a Scream, Kathy Rayna, Detective is Born, Flight of the Amazon Queen, all quite fun. I'm also working my way through other game series. I'm working my way right now through Tomb Raider up to Chronicles, and I'm still debating now if I want to add Angel of Darkness or not. It all depends. I may just give in and say yes, I'll do it. I may not. I'm still working on Last Revelation right now. I'm also working my way through the Sherlock Holmes series of games in a chronological order. As this was time of this recording, I'm on the 5th one in the series chronology, which is Secret of the Silver Earring, which is actually the second game released. Once Chapter 1 is released, that'll become the new first. I'm also working my way through Aliens vs. Predator, the 2010 release. I'm working on the Predator campaign right now. I'm working my way through the Henry Stickmin collection. May actually be finishing that soon. I'm working my way through... Damn, I had a brain fart there. Working my way through The Witness. I'm also working my way through the Zork franchise in a chronological order, starting with Zork Zero. And I'm working my way through Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure, which is fun. It has a snarky cat in it. I love it. There are other things up on the channel you may want to take a look at, including retrospectives every week, runs through the game of Monstrum 2, and I've been reading some of my stories in prose, and who knows, there may be other stuff that may start popping up. Until next time, again, this is Rich Kale here on YouTube, Rich Gen X elsewhere. Have fun! Bye!